You know, everything isn't all bad all of the time, and I know that sometimes my videos are like the polar opposites of one another. One where I'm being emotionally raw and telling you guys like the things that are going on or what I'm feeling or thinking or the things that I've been thinking for a long time. And then other times it's like showing you what I've been creating or talking about what I create on Twitch. And a lot of those live videos are just lives where I hang out and sometimes chat about illness, and sometimes we chat about other things, and sometimes I play games. And I really want to be able to just keep doing this stuff because it brings me joy. It makes me happy to put myself out there and to express the hardships, but also the triumphs and the joys that come along with being sick. And I think sometimes people are so quick to judge people who are chronically ill, especially on the outside of it, and be like, oh, you're just a negative Nancy or whatever, when in reality we're just expressing the things that we are living with. Yes, if we talk about it every single day, it may potentially push people away, but at the same time there needs to be this understanding between chronically ill people and healthy people that we're not gonna get better. And I understand that people want to have hope and that kind of thing. Remission of having anaphylactic episodes would be good of some sort, you know, having my flare stop, so to speak. I don't know if remission is the right word, but having a break from a bunch of the reactions, like the rolling anaphylaxis and that kind of stuff, where it's happening a lot more frequently and it's causing a lot of problems, and like I'm itchy all the time, which is part of mast cell disease. So I'm always either scratching my nose or whatever. But like, it's just, if the disconnect wasn't there, if people who didn't have chronic illness understood what it was like in the sense of being patient and kind and understanding, things might be different. Maybe the world would be less ableist, but the world is so ableist and so close-minded towards people who have illness. And like, I hear about all of this inclusion stuff, inclusion, and even at universities, accommodation, but it's bare minimal. It's bare minimal. In film, it's bare minimal. Maybe they'll have someone in the background in a wheelchair, or, you know, they'll have, you know, someone who is deaf or someone who cannot speak, who's mute. Sorry, my eyes are super itchy. And they will like have one or two of these people, but it's usually not in a main role unless it's about a famous person. And when you look at stuff through the lens that I look at it, especially media, there's just not enough creators that are disabled that are being pushed to those forefronts, being the center of a show, being the center. Like, yes, there are some, but when it comes to like rare diseases as an example, or like, you know, you see videos that have cancer in it all the time. That seems to be a very common thing to use in a video, and they just show how, like, you know, how cancer does whatever to people and how it does stuff to families, but there's not necessarily always a positive light about people that live with chronic illness. It's usually some sort of mean thing. I've talked about it before on stream. There's an episode of How I Met Your Mother where the main guy, I don't remember his name, I don't watch it enough to know their names, but I was trying to watch it through, and he ended up, is it Ted? I think his name's Ted. So he had like a date at some wedding or something, like his person he brought, she started listing off all of these things she was allergic to, and having all these problems, and I was like, oh, it kind of sounds like me. And then when she left, all of his friends kind of like tried to convince him to not be with her and stuff. And it was such an ableist narrative that was written into that episode, I stopped watching the show. Because I was like, this is a terrible thing as a writer to write. And it just shows how ingrained ableism is in media. There was I think it's the Boys as well. There was an episode, I don't remember the character's names, is the blonde super dude, whatever. He seems like kind of a dick, to be honest. There was I think it might have been a blind, or I think the guy was blind or he couldn't hear. And I think he ended up like killing him or something, saying that they didn't need defects on their team or some shit. And I was just like, wow, that was super ableist too. So there's like a lot of representation of ableism in film, in TV. Those are only 2 examples, but I'm sure if you guys want me to, I could list them off and maybe be able to find the clips of the segments. I'm not 100% sure. I have looked for the How I Met Your Mother one, but I can't seem to locate it. But those kinds of things, those are written by able-bodied people. So it's a toxic portrayal of people with illness. So where are the writers writing from our perspective? I am, and I'm trying. But do you know how hard it is to get seen when you're in a disabled community? When you're chronically ill? Because of the amount of ableism you have to push back against to try to get seen? Unless you do something that's amazing and, you know, puts you in a category where they think, oh yes, you know, you actually can do the things. Because a lot of the time people hear disability or chronic illness and then they just assume that you're intellectually challenged. They assume that you just lack capacity in so many ways. And that's ableist as well. So I wasn't expecting to make this video about ableism, but I guess it kind of is. But that's something I talk about regularly as well, because I feel like it's one of the forms of discrimination that's not talked about enough, and I feel like people are too eager to push it aside because it's not directly affecting them, so therefore it does not matter. And then a lot of us, maybe not a lot of us, maybe half of us, I don't know the statistics of it, but the people that have chronic illness or have mental health issues or have disability of any sort, not all of us can go out and protest. Not all of us can fight for change in that way. And a lot of the times the way that we end up fighting for change is through things like the internet, because we aren't able to go to a rally. Like, I wouldn't be able to do that. That would put me in so much danger, going to a rally. But I want there to be change. I want people to open their eyes and see what they are doing, recognize their ableist behavior. Yes, get uncomfortable. Sit with it for a minute. Be uncomfortable. Let someone call you out on what you're doing if you're being ableist. Realize it. Change the behavior. Be part of the change, not part of the problem. We're all guilty of ableism at one point or another, whether it's towards ourselves or someone else. Not believing them because of their diagnosis. Being angry with ourselves because we're unable to keep up with everyone else. Ableism is everywhere, and it shouldn't be. It's online, it's in the gaming community, it's in schools with accommodations that don't actually accommodate. It's within the medical system when they don't believe patients that come in that are dealing with problems, and then they send them home and that patient dies. The change needs to happen, and it needs to happen now, before more people die. Just because people have different abilities or don't have the same abilities as someone, or is missing an organ or a limb or has mental health issues, it doesn't matter what the scope of disability is. The point is that there's so much ableism pushed towards people in those in every category of disability that it just becomes, if you are doing something amazing and inspiring, the only reason that they will look at a person as inspiring is because of their disability that they're overcoming, not because of the person they are. And that too is ableist. So thank you for listening to me talk about ableism again. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you being here. If you guys want me to talk about anything in particular, please comment it down below so that I know what you want me to talk about. I do just tend to do talking head videos. You're not going to get a blog or a vlog from me where I'm out walking around and stuff. That's just never going to happen. Because it's not, I would not feel comfortable doing that, and I would have to be like covered in things to be safe. So like, this is kind of going to be the content on my channel, and I don't, excuse me, necessarily like really know how to edit stuff, and I've tried, but with doing all of the things that I'm doing, trying to edit and condense what I'm saying down into something else just isn't something that I can do. Maybe someday I will find some editor that wants to work with me that'll be able to accommodate a lower budget and that will be able to do those things, or like zoom in and out of my face or whatever. Like I just, that kind of stuff I can't do. So it's more of a vlog, obviously, where I just talk to you guys like you're here listening to me talk. And I appreciate it because these videos help me too. It really helps me to just be as raw as possible because I'm an artist and I do believe in sharing emotion. I think harboring bad emotions in ourselves like anger and hatred, I think are toxic to our bodies. And I think that if we are upset about something, we should vocalize it in a healthy and productive manner, like talking. Because if you're yelling and screaming, especially if someone's doing that towards me, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to walk away or hang up a phone. I would prefer to have a conversation because then I feel seen and heard. And if I say do something that upsets another person, if they talk to me about it, then we can come to an understanding and fix something. And I think that that is a healthier avenue for communication. Caretaker's burnout is something I would like to dive into as well at some point, and I think we may need to. So let me know if there's other topics around disability or around my art or whatever. Like I do make a lot of things. I have a lot of costumes, and I have been cosplaying every single day on Twitch in October, so like right now, and I'm very much enjoying it. I'm doing it because I wanted to see if I could do a cosplay every single day, and I'm doing it. So it's nice to get up and get dressed because it's one of the only things that's making me change my clothes, just because of like depression and stuff. So thank you again, and I really hope to see you over on Twitch sometime. Come on over and say hello, hang out for a bit. I might start live streaming on YouTube, but it might be on my other channel, my Villain Ari channel. I might stream art and stuff there. I don't know. We'll see. All right, take care. See you again soon. Bye.